In our last class, in the first lecture, we discussed the relationship between art and life. This topic itself can cause confusion because we are talking about truth in life. How is art related to truth? This immediately involves an understanding of the concept of truth. This is difficult to express in our Chinese language. With the word truth, which is a phrase in Chinese, one part is true and the other part is reason. When we use the word reason, we naturally think of rationality and logic. The application of reason and logic results in science or philosophy, of course, referring to Western philosophy. So, the word truth makes us feel that it has an inevitable connection with these sensory artistic works. This confusion naturally occurs. Now, it's hard to find a better word to translate the English word truth. This truth can certainly be translated as the true picture, right? But there is still the word picture or xiang in it, which becomes a problem. If we have some understanding of Buddhist philosophy, the word xiang is also problematic, right? So, if you translate truth as the true picture, the word xiang comes up again. How can it be translated appropriately? We know the importance of Heidegger's thought on this issue. He said that the original Greek word aletheia, which was later Latinized and commonly used as truth and similar words by us, has the original meaning of what? Without concealment. So, what is being concealed? What is being concealed is existence itself. Truth is to make existence clear, that is called without concealment. In this way, the understanding of the concept of truth is a revolutionary thing in philosophical thought. We are used to speaking of truth from a rational perspective, so our relationship with the world and all things is the use of our rationality to recognize and deal with things. These things are called existence. If we handle them successfully, control external things successfully, and make them serve the interests of humanity, this is called truth. In this way we understand existence, which is a very interesting topic. In our last class, we quoted a passage from Heidegger's appreciation of Van Gogh's painting. A pair of peasant shoes, leather peasant shoes, this is a type of footwear, right? No problem. If this pair of leather shoes is placed in front of you, you can see it, so why bother moving it onto a canvas? If Van Gogh only faithfully moved a pair of peasant shoes onto the canvas when he did this, then what we can see is still an entity, this pair of footwear, an entity, right? Perhaps he allowed us to see it better, but did Van Gogh use this painting to help us better understand what the footwear looks like? Is that the purpose of the painting? Perhaps we can just place a pair of peasant shoes like this on the table. Everyone can walk around it from different angles to look at it, right? Perhaps we can see it more clearly. A pair of peasant shoes is made like this. It has its sole, it has its upper, and it is connected by a kind of string between the sole and the upper. Its utility is clear, it can be worn on the feet, allowing us to walk on soil, it is a kind of tool. This is why a shoe is a shoe, a determination of an entity. Its utility, a kind of tool. Why do we need to move its image onto a canvas? Heidegger then asks, did Van Gogh paint these peasant shoes to help us better understand what kind of footwear they are? We can certainly have a discussion about peasant shoes, a discussion of knowledge, a discussion of craftsmanship. How are they made? What is their utility based on? What are the elements? All of these discussions can be carried out, but they are all discussions centered around entities. And what is being concealed? The existence of this entity. When it comes to the existence of beings, it may seem strange to us. What is the existence of these shoes? Is it their utility? Of course. But we not only need to ask, what is this utility based on? It is based on reliability. This reliability is demonstrated by Van Gogh's painting. So what are these farming shoes? They represent the connection between the farmer wearing them and the earth. The utility of all tools is based on what kind of reliability. The connection between the farmer and the earth is the farmer's survival. Therefore, Heidegger concludes in this passage that this tool is these shoes. Belonging to the earth, it is preserved in the farmer's world. So, where do we see the significance of Van Gogh's painting of these farming shoes? It is not to depict an exact representation of a being for us to see clearly. Instead, what is it trying to depict? The existence of beings. This is a fundamental guide. When we go to view a true work of art, whether it is a fish or a river with a bridge, are we trying to discover these beings? We often see rivers in reality, and we also see bridges on rivers. So when the artist paints the river and the bridge on his canvas or Chinese painting paper, what is it for? Is it to help us recognize that this is a river, and that is a bridge? So, when we appreciate a work of art, what are we looking at? In Heidegger's words, we are looking at the revelation of the true nature of existence itself. As human beings, where is the basis for our existence in this world? It is not in the so-called other things, other various beings, but in living as humans in this world. The human being, as an existent, should understand existence itself. We are already engaged in this understanding of existence, but we often obscure it. We believe we can live better in this world through knowledge and experience aimed at gaining benefits and avoiding harm. What is the foundation of this knowledge and experience? It is the understanding of existence itself. So when we say that a work of art gives us a sense of beauty, what does this beauty refer to? In traditional art, beauty has always been linked to the form itself. Take painting, for example. The mix of patterns and colors gives us a nice visual experience. It's all about pleasure. So, beauty is the good feeling that this form gives us. That's why we talk about formal beauty, right? Beauty in form, that's the basic idea of formalist art, led by Bell. This view is pretty typical in traditional art. Even Kant and others still see the beauty in the form itself. This idea of formal beauty leads art to do this kind of work. It's all about studying the art form and trying to set some kind of standard. What kind of form can guarantee beauty? What kind of form can't make something beautiful? This is a deep study that's kind of different from how artists actually work. It's been around for a long time. It all started with Pythagoras, who said that beauty is about balance and harmony. Yep, he thought beauty came from the form. If that's really true, art starts to look more like a craft. Making art is really just making crafts. We can make sure that using a certain form can make people happy. We can figure that out, and making crafts has always been like that. If that's the case, art doesn't really have anything to do with life or truth. The creation of an artwork has no immediate connection to truth, so I must acknowledge that Heidegger, in the revolutionary foundations of his concept of existence, re-examined the essential question of the nature of art. In his very important essay, The Origin of the Work of Art, he delves into this issue. I recommend that everyone take this text as a key reference for our course, and read it carefully, understanding as much as you can. The goal is to dismantle the perspective of formalist aesthetics. When the viewpoint of formalist aesthetics is taken to the extreme, it results in what we often call aestheticism. So how does Heidegger define beauty? Let me quote a passage from The Origin of the Work of Art. What holds sway in the work is not just some real thing, but rather the truth of this being, which comes to shine forth. A pair of peasant shoes is certainly real, you can see them and even put them on your feet. They are real. But in the artwork, what holds sway is not just some real thing, but rather the truth of this being. The painting depicting the peasant shoes does not merely show the individual existent, of course it displays that. When we look at it, we see a pair of peasant shoes. But there is more than just that surface level. It allows unconcealment, the aletheia, to come into radiant presence. This unconcealment, the lack of hiddenness, occurs within the context of the whole of beings. It allows that which conceals itself to shine through. This radiant illumination is what constitutes beauty. Beauty is a mode of the presencing of truth through unconcealment. If we say that Heidegger has his own definition of beauty, then this is it. What is beauty? Not asking, is it beautiful? In our daily lives, we are constantly answering what beauty is. Now we ask, what is beauty? What is Hegel's proposition? Now we have seen Heidegger's thoughts. We can compare these two definitions of beauty. Beauty is the sensuous manifestation of the idea, according to Hegel. From this proposition, we can also see that Hegel's connection between art and truth is unquestionable. So, in Hegel's view, art is also the pursuit of truth. It's just that in Hegel's philosophy, this truth is understood as what? As the idea. So, what about Heidegger? Clearly, to exist as truth without concealment, to remove the concealment of existence itself, that is called the shining of existence itself, that is called truth. This is a discussion of fundamental principles, how one views one's own life and one's relationship with the world. We can certainly engage with other beings by understanding them and managing them better, but we cannot manage existence itself. In the face of existence, what are we? We must achieve a state of letting be, rather than trying to control it. Allow it to unfold naturally and clarify itself. Is our life in this world rooted in our knowledge, or is it rooted in our understanding of existence? The key to all these questions lies here, a new ontology of thought. This will inevitably lead to a new understanding of the nature of art and beauty. And does this understanding represent a form of progress? This is a question we can ponder. The Western Platonic philosophical tradition constitutes the fundamental thread of Western civilization, which is the transformation of the world. Why can humans transform the world? Because humans have the rational ability to produce truthful knowledge, and then, based on this knowledge, they can regulate and transform the entities. But what about existence itself? It cannot be the object of our transformation. If a civilization is built on the history of transforming entities and obscures and forgets existence itself, then this civilization is without a foundation. We have already been uprooted. This uprooting is the inevitable result of the Western Platonic philosophical tradition, and this result is nihilism. Nietzsche articulated this nihilistic conclusion. This discussion is necessary for our current discussion. What is the connection between art and truth? Is it in the sense of Hegel, or in the sense of Heidegger? Hegel certainly will not simply stay at, art is an activity of creating beauty. That would be too superficial for Hegel. Hegel undoubtedly regards the artistic endeavor as what? The endeavor of truth. It's just that Hegel's understanding of truth is what? The idea. The idea that can be grasped by reason. It is clearly the Platonic tradition. For example, the People's Republic of China, this is a political idea. Right? We can let this idea manifest itself in a sensuous way, that's called Ode to the Red Flag, that symphonic poem, right? Created by Lu Qiming. In this way, it seems to provide a good evidence for Hegel. The enterprise of art is the enterprise of truth, it is the enterprise of using sensible imagery to manifest the idea. The idea is already a pre-existing, ready-made presence, and art goes about the business of allowing it to be sensibly presented. But in Heidegger's view, what is truth? What is art? The original occurrence of truth. Please note the time and place of occurrence. Does Heidegger's statement have any basis? Looking back at the history of human art, whether it's Western or Eastern, are those true works of art based on the understanding of the concept? The concept being already understood, and then it is dressed in the garment of sensuous form? So, the proposition of the original occurrence of truth, this is Heidegger's proposition. What is the connection between art and truth? It is the event of the occurrence of truth, rather than truth already existing and then being made manifest. So what is truth then? It is the unveiling of existence, not existence being made clear. So, these are the points that must be emphasized. What's so attractive about this pair of farmer's shoes? Just by their appearance, there's nothing attractive. But we can appreciate Van Gogh's painting of these farmer's shoes, and we feel that beauty. This beauty is not the beauty of its conformity to formal rules, bringing us the satisfaction of aesthetic pleasure. No. We are drawn into what? The farmer's world of existence. So, this is the crux of the matter. Of course, many people have rejected Heidegger's aesthetic thought, the thought of the philosophy of art, and still firmly believe that beauty lies in form. But it doesn't matter, where does the basis for the existence of an artwork lie? This will be the topic of the next lecture, the second lecture. It is the mode of existence of the artwork, and things will become clearer as we continue our discussion.